It wasn't a football match, but Pep Guardiola just faced the most shocking loss of his life, his marriage. Pep and Christina's Serra always seemed like they had it figured out. Not flashy, not loud, just a quiet, elegant couple who had stood the test of time. While other celebrity relationships came and went, Pep and Cristina kept their love private, stable, and strong. At least, that's how it looked from the outside. But the reality was far more complicated. And when Pep recently signed a contract extension with Manchester City, committing even more years to the game, Cristina realized she couldn't keep living in the shadows of football.
Sky Sports News, breaking news. Pep Guardiola has signed a new contract to stay as Manchester City manager.
That was the moment she walked away. Let's rewind. They met in the early 1990s. Pep was just starting to make waves at Barcelona. Cristina worked in her family's fashion store, a sharp, thoughtful woman who couldn't care less about football. And that's exactly why Pep noticed her. She didn't treat him like a superstar. She treated him like a human being. Their connection was immediate, but it wasn't dramatic. It was thoughtful, slow-burning, real. Over time, they built a life together. They had 3 children. They moved from Spain to Germany and then to England, always chasing Pep's next chapter. Cristina, despite being deeply rooted in Barcelona's culture and rhythm, followed. She gave up her hometown, her friends, even full-time control over her business to be there for Pep. But it wasn't just about love. It was about commitment, a partnership, sacrifice. For years, it worked. Pep was obsessed with football, but Cristina supported him. He wasn't the easiest man to live with. Intense, perfectionist, constantly analyzing. But Cristina balanced him. She grounded him. She reminded him there was a life outside the stadium. But even the strongest patience wears thin. As the years went by, Cristina began spending more time back in Barcelona. She reconnected with her family, got more involved in her fashion label, and started rediscovering who she was outside of Pep's world. Meanwhile, Pep stayed in Manchester, more immersed in football than ever. And then, in 2023, he made the decision that changed everything. He signed another multi-year contract with Man City. For Cristina, that wasn't just another football season. It was a symbol. It meant more years of distance, more years of missed dinners, lonely flights, events attended alone, and milestones he might miss. She had waited long enough, believing the end of his coaching career was coming soon. But now, she knew, football was his forever, and she couldn't keep giving up her life, waiting for him to return to theirs. The emotional distance had been building for years. They still spoke, of course. They still co-parented, shared updates, checked in. But the emotional intimacy, gone. They were living parallel lives, cordial, polite, but no longer connected. Pep would come home, but his mind was still at the training ground. Cristina would smile, but she was miles away, thinking about Barcelona, about peace, about finally living for herself. What hurt wasn't the anger, it was the quiet. No one screamed, no one cheated, it just faded. Like a photograph, slowly losing its color. Until one day, there was nothing left to hold on to. Cristina came back to Manchester once more. But not for a reconciliation. She came to talk. One last honest conversation. She told him she couldn't do it anymore. That waiting had become a full-time job. That love isn't enough if someone keeps choosing something else. Pep didn't argue. He didn't beg. Because deep down, he knew he had already made his choice when he signed that contract. They finalized their divorce quietly. No headlines. No public breakdown. Just dignity. They split everything with care and kept their focus on their children. And then they moved on. Cristina returned to Barcelona full-time. She re-established her business. She started appearing at events again, not as someone's wife, but as herself. She looked brighter, lighter, like someone who had been holding her breath for years and finally exhaled. Pep stayed in Manchester. He still coached, still won, still delivered those trademark tactical masterclasses. But something was different. His energy on the touchline was just as sharp, but off the field, he was quieter, more distant. The fire was still there, but the warmth less so. He gave everything to the game, but now there was no one waiting for him at home to pull him back when he went too deep. There were rumors that he dated, but nothing stuck. Because how do you replace someone who was there from the very beginning? Someone who knew you before the fame, before the titles, before the pressure. Cristina wasn't just his wife. She was his home. And once he lost her, part of him never came back. They still connect for their children, still speak, still show each other respect, but they're no longer partners, no longer lovers, just 2 people who once shared a beautiful story and had the strength to end it when it stopped serving them. So, why did they divorce? It wasn't because they stopped loving each other. It was because Pep chose another contract, Another chapter in football when Cristina needed him to choose her. She had waited long enough. In the end, this isn't a story of scandal. It's a story of timing, of priorities, of emotional exhaustion, of a woman who spent her life supporting a man who loved her deeply, but loved football just a little more. So are they better apart? Yes, they both seem more at peace, but there's still sadness there, because this wasn't a breakup. This was an unraveling, a slow burn, a goodbye whispered instead of shouted. Cristina found herself again. Pep kept building his empire. And maybe, just maybe, they both know they gave everything they could until there was nothing left to give. If this story hit you like it hit us, show some love. Like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful, personal stories behind the public lives we think we know.
Champions League, guys, but nobody's going to give us. From above, they don't come to give you the Champions League. If you want, you have to take it. I know you dream it, but now is the moment. It's now what you have to do it. It's now we have to do it. I know we're going to win the Champions League. We're going to win the Champions League. This is on manager Pep. We're going to win it. It's just worse. The Champions League.